Hey everybody! Today I am going to talk about the power of your thoughts. Your thinking is the most powerful tool that you have, and you might not really understand that yet, like I didn't before. So basically, our thoughts, yes. So we have all this internal monologue going all the time, and it's talking to us, and it's saying things like, you need to remember to do this later. So that's quite useful thinking. It reminds you of things you need to do. Or most vast majority of thinking is not that useful thinking. It's actually more dwelling on the past or thinking about the future. So it's never actually present with the only time that exists, which is now. It's always thinking about something that happened previously, most negative, kind of dwelling on something, for example, this family dispute I had years and years ago with this person. It's really, I can't believe they said that about me. I really don't like them because of that, and I'm going to hold it against them for a long time. Or it could be something that happened a few days ago. Maybe you had a meeting at work and someone, you thought, they're really rude and out of order, and what your mind's going to be doing is replaying this scenario. So you're living that again and again and again. Or future thinking. So it could be, you know what, I hate my life and I'm not looking forward to the future at all. I don't have a partner, for example, so that means I'm definitely going to be unhappy. Or I'm not happy with my body, so I'm just going to get more out of shape, so this is going to happen. Or you can have thinking about the future where, in the future I'm going to find salvation. So, for example, I can't be happy now because I haven't met this goal or that goal or that goal, but in the future, so further down the line, when I've met my perfect partner, which doesn't exist by the way, and I've got 3 children, and I'm this level in a company, and my body's amazing, and I've got all these great healthy habits that I do, and everything else, then I'll be happy. Okay, so this is what our thinking does. It always talks about the past and it talks about the future, and it's never actually where you are now. And even if it is commenting on something that you're doing now, then it's that those comments are based from your past conditioning. So maybe you're talking to someone and you have thoughts saying, I don't really like the way that person looks or something. So that's your conditioning from your past coming into the now. So the power of your thoughts. So all of us at the moment basically stuck indoors. We can go out a bit outside, but we can't do our normal things. So maybe we miss our jobs, like socializing people at work and doing the job that we love, like out and about. Maybe we miss our hobbies. So for me, I used to do lots of dancing, so I can't obviously do that at the moment. Other hobbies people have, like the gym, and always socializing with people, going to dinner, and going to pubs and everything else, going on holiday, everything else, something that we can't do. And so we might think, you know what, this situation sucks. I hate lockdown, and it's rubbish, and my life's crap at the moment, and all of these different things that you might have about all these different thoughts that you're having about your situation, and you believe, because of the power of your thoughts, that that is a situation making you feel like that the situation, the fact that we're in lockdown, is making you feel shitty. But that is not the case, because you can observe your thoughts and choose if you pay attention to them or not. So loads of people. So before, a few years ago, actually, I would have been probably feeling the same. I would think, it sucks. I can't go dancing anymore, and I can't do X, Y, and Z anymore, and I'm stuck here in this house, and blah 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 blah, moaning, complaining, because that's what the mind does generally. It complains about stuff. And that's because it's trying to feed your sense of identity, which talked about in a video further down. If you want to check it out, you're not who you think you are. So yeah, your thoughts are really powerful. And you can choose. You can basically believe that they are you, which is what most people do, and therefore they make you feel miserable because it's generally complaining about something. Most thoughts are like that. It's something like 80% of your thoughts are negative. so you can do that. That's what I would have done a few years ago. Or you can totally shift that and realize, no, it's not the situation that's making me unhappy, the fact that I'm in lockdown. It's actually my thinking that's making me unhappy. There's a real difference there, separating the two things. So what we normally have is a situation, and then we have our layer of thoughts on top. And most people believe that this is one thing. So our thoughts about something is the situation. What I'm suggesting to you is that isn't the way it has to go. You can have the situation, and then you can have your thoughts about them, and you can observe these thoughts and realize you don't want them, get rid of them, and just look at the situation for what it is. And so the situation is, yes, we are restricted in some ways of what we can do at the moment. Does that mean you have to be unhappy or negative? No. What you can do instead is think, okay, this is the situation as it is. This is what I can and can't do. How do I make the best use of this time? Like, how am I going to come out of this in a stronger way? Is it, for example, working on something that I've always wanted to do, but it's always been down the bottom priority list? So maybe it's something like starting your own business or writing a book, or anything that you've always just had at the bottom of your to-do list that you've never quite got round to, that is something that maybe you really want to get done, or something that you really think is quite purposeful in your life, something that you help people, for example. So maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's something like gardening, or learning to cook better, or it could be anything. Think, how can I use my time productively? And so that's the real situation, and that's what you can choose to do with it. And as I said before about the thinking, most of us choose to believe the thinking, so we think it's all terrible. But actually, what I'm suggesting to you, and what I'd love for you to try, is actually observe the thoughts you have about the situation. So it could be, oh, I hate being in this house, like I want to do this, oh, I miss this, oh, I can't do this. Generally some kind of complaining, and just trying to observe that, and then say, actually, I don't want my attention to go there, because does that do anything to change the situation? Does it make it more positive? Does it mean I can go out? No. It doesn't mean any of those things. So why not just observe that thinking and just say, okay, I don't want to go there. I'm going to focus on now. What can I do now? And then you can go and do something productive. And then you probably get recurring the same thoughts again, because they tend to come up and come up. But what happens over time is the less you give them your attention, and the more you focus your attention somewhere else, and, for example, working on something that you want to work on or whatever, those thoughts just decrease in their strength. So they become much weaker, so they don't control you anymore. And this is not actually, if you manage to do this and observe your thoughts, you're doing the most powerful thing possible, basically, as a human being in the way that we are. Is like the vast majority of people don't ever separate the situation and their thoughts from just the situation, their thoughts being two separate things, and they don't separate this whole thing. But if you learn to do this, and this changes everything, because it changes every situation. You can notice you have a judgment about it, and actually that judgment, normally you believe it to be a fact, like you believe that to be the absolute truth, when it isn't. It's just your interpretation based on your conditioning, so what you've had in your life, so the culture and what your parents have taught you and what school taught you, all of that forms your conditioned judgments about that situation. So if you can notice that and choose not to engage with it, and that's life-changing. That changes everything. And it's the same with people as well, because everyone is very judgmental until you come to a place where you realise where these judgments are coming from and why you're doing it, which is building up your sense of self, which is false. Again, there's another video below about that. What you're really doing there then with people is using these conditioned judgments on them, and therefore it's because you're trying to build up your sense of self by making them different in some way. And so when you practice this observing of thoughts, and you do this and start observing things without thought, so just trying to observe something for what it is, and you start doing this with people, and that is a game changer, because it changes everything about how you relate to people. You're not continuously judging them. You're realizing that they are the same as you in their essence, in fact that their awareness, their attention is the only thing that's never changed in your life. They are this thing, the same as you, exactly the same, and then they've just got a layer of conditioning on top, like you have. Conditioned from your society, conditioned maybe from your religion, or from your schooling, from your parents, from your environment, from your culture. At the core of it, they're the same as you, but they just have a different layer of conditioning on top. And when you really realise this, it changes everything about your relationships with people, and it's so liberating and so freeing, and you truly connect with people. So the power of your thinking, just to sum up, is absolutely massive. Like, it is everything about your experience, pretty much. It's huge. So I invite you to try and observe your thoughts and then choose not to engage or give attention to the ones that you don't want to. You can ask, for example, as I mentioned in other posts, about having an activity you do every day where you observe your thinking. So, for example, it could be brushing your teeth. And you can observe during that time, okay, I've got thoughts coming up about this. And you can notice, right, what is this thought? So maybe it's something about this family drama that happened years ago. You can decide at this point, right, am I going to take some action on this? Is there anything I can do to kind of take action? And if there is, go do the action. If there isn't, and you don't want to take any action, then you just realise, I don't want this thought anymore. I'm sick of it. I've heard it for the last 10 years. I don't want it anymore. So what I'm going to do is just ignore that thought and carry on, with the sensation of brushing my teeth. And start doing this throughout your day with whatever you're doing, or eating, or working, whatever. Notice your thoughts. Notice what they're saying to you. Ask a question, are they serving me? If they are, fine. Sometimes, as I say, they are quite useful. They'll tell you, you need to remember to do this, and then I might write down that thought saying, yep, thanks, that's actually quite useful, I will do that. Other thoughts that come, I think, nah, don't want you in my life. It could be something negative, like you can't do this or whatever, and I just choose not to go there. And then bring your attention back into the now again, whatever you're doing. And then gradually, as I said, those thoughts will weaken in their strength, and they'll get less and less and less. And then you'll stop being dominated by your thoughts. You'll stop believing that you are these thoughts. You'll see the separation between you and your thinking, and the situation and your thinking. And that will just be a game changer. Like that will change your life, really, in a nutshell. So yeah, just wanted to share that little bit with you today. So it's not the situation, this lockdown, that's making you unhappy. Trust me, it's not. Okay, it could be slightly better. Yes, our preference would be not to be locked down, but the fact is we accept it. We think, how can we make use of the situation? And thoughts come saying, this is rubbish, and I miss this, and I can't do this, and blah, blah. So is this serving me? Is this helping the situation? Can I do it changing anything? No. So ignore and go back to, what can I do now? What's going to make good use of my time today? What can I do? Can I learn a new skill? Can I do this? Can I go and help this person? Can I speak to this other person? Whatever it is. So I invite you to try. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Please do comment below or comment me, message me in private if you'd prefer to do that. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you already are aware of this, or if this is new to you, it'd be really fascinating to know. Because for me, it was an absolute game changer. So yeah, cool. Have a lovely day. Talk to you soon.